Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Grue Room. And for the Grue Room today, we got a very, very special edition of the Grue Room. There's a gay horror movie, a slasher that's out. Well, it's coming out, and it's called Death Drop Gor- Gorgeous. Death Drop Gorgeous. And we got the writers and directors of the film. We got Michael J. Ahern. We got Brandon per, Sanchez and Christopher Dalpe. And if I'm saying your names wrong, I apologize. And we got the actors of the film, Wayne Gonsalves and Peyton St. James, and Brandon and Chris, the writer and directors of the film, also are actors in the film. So I'm really looking forward to talking to them about doing this film and wearing many hats in the film. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Room, and my interview with the directors, writers, and some casts of Drop Dead Gorgeous is coming up next. Okay, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your night and coming on the show and talking about this great horror film.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Definitely. So okay, so now I'm like looking, seeing which one, who's who. Okay, Michael and Brandon, you guys wrote and directed the movie too. Can you both tell us like what the movie was about and how you came up with the script for it?
Yeah, so the original idea started with Brandon and Chris, who should be joining us shortly.
Okay.
And they were sort of talking about these dating apps that we use and how they're sort of an easy tool for a serial killer. So they were kind of just like, they were just kind of like brainstorming like some kills and stuff like that. And then I connected with Brandon over horror movies, and he kind of mentioned this idea that they had, and I was just really excited to like work on like something creative, and I was and so I was like, let's just start writing it. And then so Brandon joined Chris and I and him, and we all met one evening, just started like thinking of like plots and arcs for Death Drop Gorgeous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically that's it.
and then we drank a lot of whiskey and we wrote a screenplay, and then at some point we roped in Wayne and Brandon's boyfriend Ryan, and the five of us made this monster that you can now watch on iTunes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Wayne, like how did you wind up getting involved with the film? Like how did you find out about it and apply for it and all that stuff?
I was blackmailed. No, no. So I pretty much like I lived in Providence for quite a long time, and one of the first people I met was Brandon. So I've known Brandon for a while, and when they were kind of pitching and writing the idea for this movie, I'm not really sure how it came about that I should play Dwayne, but it almost seemed like they were telling a little bit of my story, and some of the things that happen in the movie are things that have happened around Providence, and kind of some of the things have happened to me. And I hadn't met Mike yet, but when Brandon had brought the script to me and I read it, it was scarily too familiar. It was almost like I had known Mike for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't remember when we were just like, yeah, Wayne will be our star. I forget. I don't know if it was Brandon that said it but like it was like pretty like right at the beginning. So we're glad he's our final girl.
Final girl, and also is like on set. We had a crew of 5 people, like Mike said. So Wayne was there for like every scene too, just like doing like we all wore many hats, so it was moving props around, doing makeup, moving lights around. Like it was just a process. So it was like kind of the five of us that did all the legwork.
Okay. And where was everything filmed at?
All in Providence. Yeah.
Yeah, with the exception of maybe like two smaller scenes. One was done in Salem, Massachusetts, and one was done in P-Town, Massachusetts. Everything, yeah, everything else takes place in Providence, whether it's like in the basement of bars we work at or in our garage where we built our sets. So yeah, all in the city of Providence, Rhode Island.
Nice. And who was the one that did like all the blood and gore and stuff? Because there's a nice amount of that, and it's awesome.
So Victoria Elizabeth Black from season 2 of Dragula, her and her partner Opulence Black came up and did 3 of the pretty big scenes, and then this guy Scott Miller, who's like over in Massachusetts, did 2 of the other big scenes as well. And then the rest of them, the rest of us just kind of like MacGyvered together and tried to do the best we could.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Wayne, like when you first saw the script and you knew you were going to be in it a lot, like what did you first think of the script when you read it?
I thought it was like an extremely fun script. It was super witty. I also thought that the kills were really great. So I'm a sucker for a good kill. So you got me.
Nice.
When Wayne joined the movie, he only wanted one thing though, and we didn't give it to him. And his one thing was he wanted to get thrown through a window. So hopefully in another movie we'll get to throw Wayne through a window.
I hate
we got
to
the
just
table.
jump in I don't know what we're talking about, but we did throw him through a table. Wasn't that enough?
Oh no,
Wasn't
you
that
threw him through a
enough?
table? Like
Yeah,
the WWE style?
essentially,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. We need more glass.
Welcome to Grue, Chris, and I was going over like how Mike and Brandon came up with the film and writing the script and directing and everything, and you were part of that too, right?
Yes, I was very supportive of the entire endeavor that they did. My apologies. I really thought it was like 8:30 that we're supposed to be here, and so I literally had my sister's boyfriend driving me like 80 miles an hour on the highway, being like, I need to be there for 8:30. I got a call from Mike. He's like, it's 8:15. I was like, well, we're already late. So let's yes. Whatever you talked about, I promise you that this was like the mind child of a beautiful, beautiful like relationship between the 3 of us that we wanted to see, like a gay slasher that hit all of the horrific qualities of gay dating apps mixed with like the nightlife culture that we all exist in. So no matter what, I promise that I'm sure that the boys spoke to that before I arrived.
Yeah. And like you're talking about like gay horror slasher films. Like I saw Hellbent. Did you ever see that movie, Hellbent?
Yeah.
And that was a great one. And Pitchfork. I don't know if you've ever saw that one.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, I don't think
That one
seen
I haven't seen.
Pitchfork.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's Pitchfork about?
It's actually like a really good gay horror slasher film, and the guy who made the film is gay, Glenn Packard. And it's about this guy with a mask, a slasher serial killer dude, and he goes around to these group of kids, and he goes after them. And the lead actor is the final boy.
Yeah. Add it to my list.
Basically, he like brought his friends his friends to his mom and dad's house because he was afraid to tell his parents he was gay. So he had his friends come with him, so it would give him more courage to tell his parents because his parents are like farmers.
Oh.
No.
And-
Oh, yeah. It's not too big.
Oh.
and
Yeah.
like this, I love seeing like more films like this being made because not a lot of people make gay slashers, even gay horror movies, and I'm glad to see like more and more guys are making them now. And like, how do you feel about like gay horror? You think it's getting made more now than it was, say, like 5 years ago?
Well, I love everything that you just said, because I think such a motivation for us starting this project was that specifically we wanted to see a movie that we all would enjoy, and we wanted to see characters that like represented our community and who we were. To contrast that with like what is out there right now, I'm gonna probably leave to the other guys to like maybe comment on, but like I think we wanted to create something that we hadn't seen before, and that was something that meant a lot to us. To even if it is gritty and funny at sometimes, like there was a point to it, and there was a person to it that we wanted to kind of illustrate. So I think the idea of creating a story that was not out there yet was a big part of our drive. I don't know if you guys want to talk about like how it compares to other stuff though.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. When we started the conception of this was like 6 years ago. So at the time there was definitely the whole endeavor into this point was probably about 6 years. So at that time there was definitely a lot less
Exactly.
of queer horror, gay horror. And so the uptick of it is really exciting. I do think that with current stuff out, there's definitely some gems, but there's definitely also, I find that a lot of horror movies nowadays are kind of just throwing in a gay character that's very two-dimensional and kind of like doesn't really serve the plot, doesn't really doesn't have their own agency. And I understand representation is good, but I also think like good representation is important. So I think there's like a fine line that we're at now where it's kind of like did you just put in a gay character to like, I don't know, be congratulated, or like is it tokenism, or is this actually like a worthy story, and is this character like important to the plot? One of my favorite gay or queer slashers that's come out recently is called Knife and Heart, and I think that was like, I don't know if you've seen it. I think it's definitely one of my favorites of the last couple years, and I hope to see more films like that and more films like ours, where like the world is queer and it's not just like there as like a token.
I totally agree. And I have to like throw out that we recently like received some critique. They're like, oh, another another gay movie, like another like movie featuring like LGBT horror people, as if like us as a team were fulfilling some kind of like quota to be like, here is your next delivery of a queer horror film. Like which was like really mind-boggling. So, like a lot of our script and the story is actually subverting a lot of like queer storylines, and I think offering a different light queer stories. And so I think it's really important that like what Mike was saying was good representation is important. Like, it's like very unique. It's very specific, that we're like not filling a quota. We're telling a very specific story that Death Drop is about.
There you go. Could you I run, me and my friend run horror site too, and the horror site is like about 5 years old now. And when I was covering like horror movies, and the one thing I saw like no horror site was covering them was was gay horror, queer horror. And I'm like, why isn't no one covering this? Like why when you mention horror, no one talks about like this side of horror. And then I start covering all the films and I was reviewing them. I was bringing actors from the film in to do interviews. And then Big Sight saw that and saw I was getting a lot of traction and came in and start covering gay horror, and that kind
Nice.
of knocked my little site out of the water.
That's a bummer. I know it
Yeah.
is like it is sort of this thing where like bigger publications or even like bigger politicians, they don't support like LGBTQ stuff until it's
Exactly.
like safe to do so, until it's like
Exactly. That's what it
mainstream
was.
enough. Yeah, until like it's swayed by like I don't know, like culturally, like more people are accepting of it, and they're like, okay, now we'll jump on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's how it was. Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah.
Because like I even had Mark Patton writing for my site, he's the one who plays Jesse
Yeah.
in Elm Street 2.
Oh yeah.
And he was even part of like he was helping me cover gay horror, because he's gay, and he was helping me out with that, and he's awesome. Mark Patton is like a super cool guy. I couldn't thank him enough for actually coming on and helping me write stories and interview actors, and he was awesome.
I think a lot of that has to do with too, just through the 60s, well, even before that, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s horror, there's zero representation. You might have a oddball movie here and there, like Cruising or like Hellbent, but it was primarily like just mostly heteronormative, which is fine. I get it, but I think the horror community is just so conditioned to that world. I think a lot of queer people are afraid to make horror or speak up. I feel like people have been better lately. I mean, sometimes you see some stuff in the forums where they're like, "Oh God, a gay horror movie," and everyone's like up in arms about it. It's like pushing their agenda, and it's just it's annoying after a while. But like they can fuck off, and I don't really care. But I think I hope everyone can think like that. Like any like LGBTQ horror fan, I hope that you have that mentality. These people don't really matter, and they're fucking losers. So.
Exactly. And what did you all like best about filming this?
I think the best thing about filming it was just like the process of actually filming, like seeing like your script come to life, and just like you have these ideas in your head how things are going to look like, spatially or special effects wise, and then you start filming it and it looks close to like what we had in mind. It's kind of shocking and it makes you want to keep going. So that was really cool. It just shows that like it is doable. It is possible for everyone to make a movie and do their thing. It's super exciting.
Yeah, seeing it come to life definitely like kept the ball rolling. I think also what was exciting is as we went on, the like more and more people like signing on to the project and kind of like helping us get to where we needed to go, and just the support we had along the way like definitely the ball rolling. It's interesting that you mentioned Mark Patton. I don't know if you saw that documentary Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, so the two guys that made that documentary actually met Brandon and Ryan at Salem Horror Fest, and they hopped on and helped us a lot throughout the process.
Oh wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, so they like kind of assistant edited the movie, and Roman Chimenti did a lot of sound design, and Tyler Jensen cut our trailer. So so they're really great guys as well. They were super helpful, and then also no Mark Patton, obviously.
Yeah, wow. And what about you, Wayne? Like, what did you like best about filming this?
I think seeing it come to life was definitely a big thing for me. It almost seemed like every time that we had some progress, it would kind of like renew our energy in this, and it just became more of like a shared energy thing. And
sure.
I think that was probably one of the most fun aspects of that for me.
And when you're filming something, like you know, it's definitely long hours, and people are tired. Some people are getting mad and cranky. Like, was there anyone on set that was the person like that would do jokes to cheer everybody up?
I It was probably our actors, because all of us were probably like stressed most of the time. I think like it would probably be one of our actors, because they would keep us, they would cheer us up. Peyton St. James, who plays Gloria Hole, was always pretty funny on set. I mean, everyone was a good time. Everyone was there to have a good time, and everybody sort of like delivered. So it was just fun seeing them be excited about the movie just as much as us.
Nice. And I mean, the film's out, so it's not really like spoiling anything. But like, what is your like what scene do you all like best from the movie, and what kill?
So like a scene and kill, or
Yeah.
favorite? Okay. I think my favorite scene is when Gloria throws the cigarette at the baby. I remember that day, and it was such a stressful day because we intended to film somewhere else, but we couldn't because there was like a breast cancer foundation walk or something, right, guys? There was like some sort of marathon race or walk, and so we couldn't film there, and we were like running around the city, and like so many roads were blocked off because of it, so we had to like and but then when we finally got to this like the new spot we decided to film at, it just was like it just came together so hilariously. Peyton's in this like absurd garb, and just I don't know, throwing a cigarette at a baby is really funny to me.
We have drone footage of that scene too that we never used.
I think my favorite kill, I think the easy answer is obviously the glory hole scene. I think that's one that folks leave talking about the most. But
Okay.
I do really love the scene, the climactic scene at the end, with the Christmas lights and the turkey carver. I think that's a very epic scene, and I just love how it looks. I love Brandon's performance. I love Ninny's performance. I love Wayne's performance. Like it's just a good. It's just I don't know, and the sort of like mix of like the gore, the comedy, but also like the sincerity of the scene, I think like is the full like capture of what Death Drop Gorgeous is.
My favorite scene's the bathtub transition scene. I think that one it came out. We had no idea how that was going to look. At one point, we were going to have it split screen, but that didn't work. And then I just love that whole sequence. Our friend Max wrote the song that goes over it, and the song is fantastic. It's just a really fun scene. Favorite kill, like I would say, is the glory hole. It's just so absurd.
Oh, wow. I think my favorite scene is Brian and Janet at the pizza parlor. I think it's just it's such a colorful and like over the top scene for some reason to me that it's definitely one of my favorites. And plus, like just Brian's twirl that just does me in every time I see it. I think my favorite kill actually is Brian's. I think it's just he's one of those characters that like you fell in love with him, and like it's my favorite kill because it's heartbreaking to me.
Well, I feel like that's a good time for me to chime in. My favorite scene actually has nothing to do with me dying. It actually is Gloria Hole holding an umbrella in the rain, and then her kicking like her heel into some character's face, and then getting splattered with blood. But the face that Peyton St. James makes in that moment, I've watched this movie over 100 times, and every single time the face that she makes as she kills that character gets me. It gets me every single time. And then for favorite kill, I actually do, like, after watching it so many times, I do have to go with the massage scene. There's something
Okay.
so elegant and weird about that scene, and I think it actually has to do with the scoring of it, that it's so emotional and the gore is so visceral and real that
Yeah.
like a lot of audiences that I've watched it with are always like really uncomfortable after that scene because they don't walk away laughing.
Yeah,
They
they're like,
actually
"Oh,
walk
no."
away a little sad and uncomfortable. And I think that's my favorite kill.
Yeah. And I mean, like Chris, like Brandon, like you both act in the film too, like besides writing, directing, like you also acted in it.
And Mike too.
Yeah, and Mike too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like,
And Wayne, our main character.
well, yeah, of course, Wayne, like he's the main final boy. So how was everything like on set? Like how I mean, I know like the set is long hours and all that stuff, but how was the set like for this horror movie?
It was a lot. We had so many different locations and so many different scenarios. So when it was a smaller crew and it was a long day, it was really hard. It's literally just the five of us just going crazy. And then you throw in like a crew full of like 20 drunk girls doing the bachelorette scene and trying to 'cause they were drunk for real. So trying to corral them. Um and then do that, trying to make that scene happen at the same time with Chris was like coaching them. I'm like filming. It was just there was so much going on.
Oh
Me and Mike
no.
running around. Yeah, it was just like it was fun, but like yeah, it's stressful. Like some of those shooting days are like 12 hours long, and like it's like so exhausting. You feel like you ran a marathon by the end of it. You're like, holy shit.
My God.
I would remember like the days like after like like nights after shooting, even if it wasn't necessarily a full 12, if it was like 6 or 8, like I remember I would sleep so good. Like I would be so tired, even though I just kind of maybe stood in one spot the entire day and like moved around the set or whatever. I just remember I would get home and pass out because you're so focused and concentrated, and there's only, like Brandon said, 5 of us, so we're all
Yeah.
kind of like alternating tasks depending on whose hands are free and who's like not in front of the camera. So I think that it was fun, but I do think that like that was like the most challenging, was kind of like needing to, I don't know, like make do with what we had. And which I think like comes through with the project about how much passion we have for it, because we like made it work, but it was definitely long days.
And to go off of like that is specifically if you think about like that oftentimes every film, like every scene we were filming was in a bar that often offered their space up, and with a lot of performers or extras that like offered their time and expertise up. Those days were long. Not only were we filming, but afterwards we were drinking and hanging out and talking about everything we did for like the past like 12 hours together. So I feel like it was actually kind of magical when you think about it. Like those were full days and nights that we were like really committing to the project. And then a lot of our friends and community members were leaning into to be like, we're going to really think about and talk about the project and really spend all of that time together afterwards as well. So every day was kind of an adventure.
Sweet. Do you want to add anything, Wayne?
I think they got it. I think they got it.
And when everyone films like a film or a television series, like everyone in the cast gets really close to one another. And was it like that on this set too? Did everyone leave as friends? And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chris always jokes that it's amazing that we all remained friends after all of this. We're all still friends. We all still hang out. We're all working on another movie together. So
sweet.
yeah, actually, it is also cool because like a lot of the drag queens in our film I didn't know before we started filming. Like I had heard of them, and I knew a couple of them, but not like intimately, not like as friends. And now like I don't know, I would consider them all like really great friends of mine.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so a lot of folks that I didn't know before that, even I mean, obviously Wayne, I didn't even know Wayne
Hmm.
really much before we started the project, and now Wayne's like one of my best friends. So I think that it is nice that like we all like I grew close to people and I developed like a nice like little tight knit community through this movie, which is so corny, but it's so true.
In addition to what he's saying, another thing I always say is that Death Drop Gorgeous is a movie that brings family together.
That's funny.
It kind of like brought like we combined a lot of worlds. So like we had a lot of people from the music scene helping us as well too. So like, and we were showing our movie at like local metal and punk venues. So it was this weird
Really?
gap, like yeah. So like kind of bridging like two worlds together a little bit too. I mean, the music scene here is super accepting. We lucked out in Providence. It was kind of cool to have that crossover, which was really exciting. But like a lot of the music on in the bands that have songs on the soundtrack are
Mhm.
most local bands that like donated songs. So it was really cool to like I love seeing worlds combined.
Oh wow, that's awesome. And like this is for all five of you. Was there any funny or cool behind the scenes stories that happened while you were filming on set that stand out to you the most?
Oh man.
There's too damn many is actually what we're all giggling about. We're all giggling. We're like, well, which one are we gonna make the moment that we're talking about? I'm just gonna like blow through this one and just be like, this is the anecdote. But like we were so committed to this film and the vision of what we really wanted to see happen
Mhm.
that sometimes you scout a location and it happens to be the person that you're dating. Gloria Hole's house was actually like an ex-boyfriend of mine who was
Oh,
not
wow.
an ex-boyfriend at that moment. So we actually broke up, but I was like, shit. I still need your house next week. I know that you just like dumped me aggressively and it was like kind of mean and sad, but like, can we still go to your house next week? And hilariously, that was the scene that like I get murdered in and I have to die on their floor. But like in essence, the background of that, like he was fucking watching like Black Mirror on his TV while I was dying. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
which I actually, in retrospect, is much more funny than it is traumatic.
Well, we almost burnt one of our actors' face off with a little chemical concoction.
Oh
So
no.
Mike Murphy that you see in the dumpster, we had to film that scene twice with the coke that burns his face off. We kind of like did those special effects ourselves. I put a latex prosthetic on his face. I like the exposed teeth, and we want him to be like foaming at the mouth too. So it's like let's just give him some Alka-Seltzer. And apparently, I guess Alka-Seltzer and latex have a bad reaction.
Oh, I never
So
knew that.
if anyone ever is not in a situation where you're using latex and Alka-Seltzers, be careful. But yeah, this thing's burning, so we had to like take it off his face and like quickly like make another. It was a mess.
Wow.
So funny now, but not funny at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's only slightly disfigured now. Like he's still a handsome person, but like there's some like weird scars.
What about you, Mike? And any?
I know I'm like trying to think of a good anecdote, but I'm coming up short right now. I remember there was a point during the bathtub scene where I was like, how is this even gonna work? That was such a weird day because like the first half of it was going so well and Peyton was delivering and like giving us this face and it felt a little Buffalo Bill, but it was still really eerie. And then it got to like the bathtub part and it was just like this bathtub was so small and Peyton was so tall that it was just like we had to like have her maneuver in such a specific way to get the shot, and it was just,
Oh
and
my
it was, I
gosh.
also was wicked nervous because I remember there was this one shot she goes under, and we were just like, she was just under there, and I was like, I feel like she needs to come up. Like was getting nervous because she's underwater, and like the bubbles would come up, but no one choked her, no one needed CPR or mouth to mouth, so we did okay. But that day was like very magical, but also like kind of terrifying for me.
Oh, damn.
Wayne going through the table was terrifying too. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck are
Yeah.
we doing?
I was like, just fucking do it and stop.
It was the table, but then it was also like the noises those bottles made when they were hitting each other was like so terrifying to me. Like a lot, like granted, like some of the noises you hear in the film were probably like amped up by Roman and Ryan to like give more of
Okay.
an impact, of course. But like the real life sounds of things hitting them were a little like, oh, how bad did that hurt? I don't know, because I haven't been hit by whatever was that, sugar glass, or I don't know,
Like
the fake
synthetic, yeah.
this fake synthetic glass. And then like I think Wayne had like, we had fake blood on him, but I think some of that was real blood.
Oh, no.
But no,
Yeah.
Wayne got cut on his face, like which he
It was,
told
like,
us
tiny.
afterwards.
Yeah, Wayne was committed. He didn't tell us till the end.
And luckily his insurance covers it all.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. And what about you, man? Any stories that stand out to you?
The one I think that stands out the most to me was I also did a lot of the stunts for the killer, and one of the scenes that I think about the most was the vanity scene with Ava, Unit 1, and she when we were trying to film that scene, I'm supposed to smash her face into the little handheld mirror that she's holding. So when we were practicing that take, when we were practicing that stunt, everything was going fine. And then once we went to go film it, she went down so fast, and I was pushing her also at the same time that I actually did hit her face into the vanity. She was fine, but
Yeah, no broken noses, but there was like, we all like gasped, and we were just like, and she was laughing, so she was fine, but like she did like hit her face.
And what about horror movies? Like, what are some horror movies you all like watching?
Just favorites in general.
Yeah.
I think like my top 5 changes a lot, but the original Hellraiser for sure. I love Clive Barker. I love horror fantasy. I think that movie is just excellent. I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think that movie, just from the ad campaigns for it right down to like how they did it, it was super low budget. It was like they, as DIY as you can get. Like there's some gross stories about them using actual like dead animal parts and how bad the set smelled the whole time, and like they really just did a lot with a little. I think there's a lot of smart camera usage and how they filmed it too. Like it's really not that gory, but it's just a lot of the violence is implied, and it's like they got a lot of bang out of that, a lot of bang out of the buck for that movie. It's great.
Let's see who's next. Wayne, you go next.
Actually, I mean, I feel like my top 5 movies stay the same when they're all horror, but my number 1 movie is actually Black Christmas, 1974.
I love
I
it.
just think it's such a terrifying film.
Nice.
So good.
Nice. Mike?
Yeah, I have a couple. One of my favorites is definitely Alien.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just so well done all around. Like every aspect of that film I think is brilliant. But just because it's fresh in my mind, and I'm actually going to rewatch it soon because Wayne just let me borrow his DVD. I think one of the best horror movies that's come out in the last like, I think it's, hopefully it's within a decade. Is The House of the Devil by Ty
I
West.
saw that, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just like everyone wants to do that 80s thing, but that one actually like achieves that that sort of like late 70s 80s sort of vibe. And it's such a nice slow burn. It's perfectly paced. And when you finally get to like the big moments of it, I think it really like delivers. So I think those two like stand out for me.
Nice. And what about you, Chris?
So if I was gonna like earn my horror movie cred, like I'd be like, oh, I love like The Thing, and like I get my like original kind of remake practical effects monster stuff. But we talk about horror movies so often when we're like really discussing Death Drop that I really do feel like I need to like own up for our horror comedy. And I gotta throw down Death Drop, Death Becomes Her as like
Oh yeah,
one of
yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite movies that have ever existed ever.
Yeah.
And something that's dark, comedic, also like poignant, and also
Mhm.
like gross. And like they also were leaning into a lot of like practical and CGI effects. But like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But I think really inspired a lot of my motivation for what I thought was good and funny about Death Drop Gorgeous. But also The Thing is good, and it's essentially a good answer as well.
Exactly. And with my best time of the year coming up, Halloween, what are you all gonna dress as this year for Halloween?
I'm going as a rotting mummy. It's gonna be pretty
I'm
gross.
going as Brandon Sanchez, which is essentially the same thing.
I haven't I haven't committed to anything in specific yet, but a good friend of mine, Desiree, really loves Courtney Love. So she was gonna go as Courtney Love and I was gonna go as Madonna, and she was just gonna like throw things at me. Like on the red carpet that one time. It's a very like
Yeah,
niche
when she threw her
reference.
shoe.
Yeah, she like throws shoes and like things out of her purse. So we were just gonna do that. Maybe, I don't know. We work together at a restaurant, so we might do it at the restaurant. I don't
Oh
know.
my god, that's so
We
funny.
haven't committed to it yet, but we've talked abstractly about it.
And any idea who you're gonna be, Wayne?
None whatsoever yet. I'm so behind.
And what about songs, music? Like what are you listening to on your playlist?
Ooh, we've never gotten this question yet.
Yeah.
This is fun. I'm listening to a lot of things, but actually this week I usually don't. I like seeing live music, but I often don't go and see it because of all like the work that goes into going to see it. Like I hate waiting in line, I hate
Yeah.
rushing in, I hate being next to strangers that are like rubbing up against me. Anyway, but so tomorrow night I'm seeing Orville Peck, who I'm really excited to see, and then on Sunday I'm seeing Phoebe Bridgers, who is, as Brandon, who's my roommate, would know, I'm always listening to and playing in the house.
Okay.
I was a ton of shit. This band Chat Pile. It's just like gross noise rock. It's a band called Tunic from Toronto. There's gross noise rock.
Nice.
A lot of weird black metal. So there's a record label called Sentient Ruin, and everything they put out is great. It's a band called Vessel of Iniquity I love. This band called Sepidus, they're not on the label, is really cool too. It's like just really grimy, noisy black metal.
Nice.
This band Lithics, they're like kind of like Brooklyn no wave kind of sounding stuff. Another band called Facts from Chicago. That's kind of like weird, like dissonant post punk. It's pretty fun, but all over the place.
Awesome. Chris?
The Beach Boys.
Oh. There you go. He said the Beach Boys. That's it. How come we-
I'm not lying. I thought about this. I'm like, I'm gonna try to sound cool, but I'm not. Like every time I'm in the car, I'm like, hey Siri, play the Beach Boys. And that's about it.
Okay.
It's a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. I made that joke, but honestly, my house heard me say that and is now playing the Beach Boys.
Oh no,
I
you
have to
serious?
I actually have to go turn her off.
And what about you, Wayne? What's your music taste?
Right now, actually, as of today, I got an alert on Bandcamp that this all-female punk band from Spain had released their new record today. So it's a band, I don't know if I ever say this correctly, it's called Desenteradas. But they're an all-female punk band from Spain, and it was their first album was so good, but it was like such a long time ago. So I actually thought that they broke up, and then I got an alert today that they just released a new album today. So that's all I've been listening to in my office.
Nice. And like, where can fans watch the film at and stream it and download it and all that stuff?
Yeah. So the usual offenders, Amazon, iTunes, I think YouTube, the movie option they have, they're like a YouTube movie thing. If you go to Darkstar Pictures, their website, they have a link tree with all the places you can watch it on. But yeah, it's only the big ones. And there are a couple like oddball ones I've never heard of too.
Yeah, I just like pulled up the link tree just to like confirm, and it's like it's like a very long list of all the places you can watch it. But just as Brandon was saying, iTunes, Amazon Video, Vudu, it's on Google Play, YouTube Movies, Spectrum On Demand, Verizon Fios. So
We're just asking you to Google it, and you will find it.
There you go.
So you'll be good. You'll be good. Just watch Death Drop Gorgeous, and that's all you have to Google.
Yes.
you can ask your Siri to do that.
And
Be careful.
where
She's listening. She's listening
I know,
right now.
I know she's playing your music.
But that's more of a boyfriend thing. He's like, our whole house is programmed to lights and sound. So you say, "Hey Siri," anything, and she is listening.
Oh no. And where can fans find all of you at? Like, what's your socials and all that?
Mike, share your OnlyFans.
There you go.
This joke every time, and every time it's just as hilarious. If they want to follow the movie, like Death Drop Gorgeous and like whatever the hell we're doing nowadays, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you just search Death Drop Gorgeous. We also started our own production company called Monster Makeup Productions, and
Nice.
yeah. So we're gonna be doing other projects, including films, but also Brandon just like recently filmed a music video for a local band. So we'll be doing a lot of other media and some local events too, hopefully. And so yeah, that's Monster Makeup Productions. That's on Facebook and Instagram mostly. And then our next movie we're in the middle of production of, and it's called Saint Drogo. And also on Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to follow the progress of that, we're hoping to wrap production this winter. It'll be another horror movie, but a lot spookier and a lot darker than Death Drop Gorgeous.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm loving hearing all this horror work that's coming out. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. No, I took up a lot already. So
No,
I
you're
want
fine.
I was late, so you're fine. You can take up more time.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out for this interview. When not coming out over here, like everyone's in their box, but but thanks for taking time out and coming on the show, and everyone has to go see the movie, look it up, find what site you watch, and watch it there.
Nice. Yeah. And we appreciate you having us on too.
Yeah, thank you for having us this evening.
Of course, it was fun. I loved it.
Awesome.
Definitely. Well, all right, guys. Thanks again for coming on, and have a good night and great week.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.